You're 2 away.
Oh my goodness.
From the big 500.
Oh.
I just did 555.
I know you did.
500. I'm Smarty Thomas. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess, and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. It is the week of guests, and we have Aaron today. Today, we're going to be talking about Disney's The Kid. Disney's The Kid is a 2000 theatrical release. It is directed by Jon Turteltaub, cinematography by Peter Menzies Jr., editing by Peter Honess and David Rennie, music by Mark Shaman and Jason White, and it's written by Audrey Wells. I have covered a good chunk of these people in previous videos. They will be listed and linked in the description. Peter Menzies Jr. is best known for Shooter, The General's Daughter, A Time to Kill, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Peter Honess is best known for LA Confidential, The Fast and the Furious, Aeon Flux, and Poseidon. David Rennie is best known for Volcano, Idiocracy, Race to Witch Mountain, and National Treasure Book of Secrets. The film stars Bruce Willis, Spencer Breslin, Emily Mortimer, and Lily Tomlin. Bruce Willis plays Russ and is best known for Die Hard, Moonlighting, The Sixth Sense, and Pulp Fiction. Spencer Breslin plays Rusty and is best known for The Happening, The Cat in the Hat, The Santa Claus 3, and this. Emily Mortimer plays Amy and is best known for Trans-Siberian, Match Point, Lars and the Real Girl, and Mary Poppins Returns. Lily Tomlin plays Janet, and it's Lily frickin' Tomlin. She's best known for Laugh-In, Grace and Frankie, 9 to 5, Shortcuts, Grandma, etc. The film had a $65 million budget and made $110.3 million in the box office, which isn't great. They want films to be making at least double what they took to make and then some to be considered a box office success. This made just under double what it took to make, but they did make a profit on it, so it's not horrible. It has 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars, saying that it was warm-hearted and effective. What'd you think about The Kid?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
You had mentioned you've seen this like maybe once previously?
Yeah, maybe once a long time ago, probably when it came out originally, but
you don't really remember it.
Frame
so
of
it felt
reference.
Did anything jog your memory, or did it feel like you were watching it?
I remember the plane, and I remember, but not 100%.
Oh, interesting. Well, the music was really fun. I mentioned this to Aaron while we were watching it, but the music felt very like kid adventure film and not really what the subject matter of this film was. It felt very much like Rescuers Down Under or Back to the Future, or like, you know, like very big, pompy, adventure-esque. And it wasn't really like that. It was actually dealing much more with like emotional inner conflict, and like, yeah, technically there's time travel, but they do literally nothing with that. So yeah, a couple things that really made me genuinely laugh when he was having his nervous breakdown. He's like, I don't have time to have a nervous breakdown! That made me genuinely laugh. That is old. Made me genuinely laugh. I grow up to be a loser. Made me genuinely laugh because in today's standards, a man who is very wealthy would not be considered a loser even if he doesn't have a family or a dog. But in a little kid's eyes, I was like, I love that kid is like, wow, I grow up to be a loser. I'm like, perspective. We love to see it. And then I also loved that, like, the random cameos, Matthew Perry as the, like, gruffy software dude, and then Melissa McCarthy before she was Melissa McCarthy is the waitress at the diner that doesn't exist, and lots of fun stuff like that I all really loved. I loved just, like, the tiny things. I thought that was fun.
I don't know. I like all the same things you did. I think I also liked just kind of the moments where he got older Russ got called out on his shit.
It's okay. I can believe it. No, I'm with you, though.
Called out on his stuff.
They establish him as a jerk, but it isn't until, like, when he mimics Amy that you're like, oh, like, he's awful. Like, he's awful. You're getting, like, oh, he's, like, one of these conceited, doesn't care about other people, jerk men. But the second he does, like, the making fun of Amy when she's just, like, being so cute about the moon, I was like, okay, I hate him. That's great. Can't wait to see where we go from here. And I feel like they do a pretty good job of subtly having him grow instead of just like, light switch, surprise, he's a nice person.
I kind of feel like when he's not concentrating on being this, whatever he thinks a professional, successful business person should be, you see who he really is.
Right.
But he puts on an act.
Right. I was just going to say he's pretending to be someone he isn't because he thinks that's what it takes to not be bullied or not be looked at as a loser or whatever. I'm with you there. The cinematography is great. I thought some of the like lighting features they did, like in the Skyway Diner, like when they are actually like sitting in the Skyway Diner, the like spinning light that comes in that's red and the spinning light that comes in that's blue. I think that was really fantastic use of lighting. I think I noticed it my second watch through with you. The wardrobe choices I thought were also very good. It wasn't until the second watch through with you that I realized they were having grown-up Russ in very muted tones, blacks, grays, except like his yellow tie moment, and browns maybe, but otherwise very muted tones. And then like, you know, little Rusty is in bright red to be like, look, childhood, like when you're a kid and don't care. I thought that was really good. And then the people around him in his life are also in muted tones because they're affected by whatever. I thought that was really well done as well.
I thought it was interesting that when they went to the past, older Rusty's clothes changed, but when younger Rusty went to the future, his clothes didn't change.
Yeah.
And they were, his clothes don't change not a ton, but still there is a dynamic difference between what it was in 1968 to what it was 2000.
Yeah.
So that was interesting how, and then when they went to the future again, there wasn't a change.
For Rusty, for little Russ. Yeah, that is interesting.
Older Russ, his clothes stayed the same. His clothes didn't
Anytime you saw him, yeah.
Older Russ's clothes, when they went back to 1968, they changed to 1968 clothes, and then when they went to the future, he was still in the 1968 clothes until...
I don't think they were in the future. I think the Skyway Diner was wherever it was in 1968. And then when, like, he comes back to present, I suppose we should say present, even though it was 2000. So technically our past still too.
Yeah.
When he comes back to present, that's like when the diner disappears and Rusty disappears and he goes back into his normal clothes.
No, I think that they're in the future because you see the family. They would have to be in the future.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
To see, yes, they went to the diner is going to be there. It's that, I guess you could say it's a conduit for wherever they've traveled to, but I think they moved unknowingly to the future.
Or yes, maybe the Skyway Diner is immune to the time thing.
Yeah.
So like future Russ, present Russ, and past Rusty can all be at the Skyway Diner, and it doesn't matter. So present Russ was still in the 1968 clothes because of that's just where he was. Maybe. And then when the Skyway Diner disappears, it's like, oh, you're back in your own time. Here's your clothes. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The time thing, they say nothing about the time thing other than they traveled through time.
There was like no anomaly.
There was no anomaly. Like weather, planets, anything like that. There's no like fairy godmother. Like they like future Russ obviously knows that all of this happened.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like, oh, did you put the plane on my? Okay, how did future Russ do it then? How did future? What is he flying through time with his magical jet powers? Like they explain nothing, and I get that it's like supposed to be like, oh, magical. He just learned his lesson. If you want it to be like whatever, and that's cute, but like I'm a little bit left like, but how? Like,
or did he just have a mental breakdown?
Or did he have his nervous breakdown? Yeah, for real.
I mean, if you think about it, even future Russ says it was great to see you again.
Right. So he remembers,
which means this has happened to him before, so is he perpetuating a cycle?
Right.
Like, did the first time it ever happen, he wasn't this person, wasn't married, and had this whole, like, at 70 crisis?
Well, I was thinking...
was, like, figured out some magical thing to go back and make himself learn a lesson.
Well, obviously, it's just no matter what happens. So, like, 70-year-old Russ remembers being almost 40-year-old Russ seeing baby Rusty, but wouldn't you think baby Rusty, like, wouldn't you think 40-year-old Russ would remember baby Rusty coming to the future? So it's like, how does he not remember from being an 8-year-old going to the future, meeting his 40-year-old and 70-year-old self?
But he doesn't remember a lot of his childhood, remember?
Yeah, okay. Somebody call the ambulance.
I'm just saying, remember, he doesn't even remember anything of his childhood until he talks about tripod.
I guess, but they changed something. Like, it's just...
That's what I mean. Like, did
it doesn't make any
70-year-old Rusty not get married, not have a family, just live this horrible, like, unfulfilling life, and somehow goes and finds out how he can magically go back and change it. And that is the perpetuated cycle. Because at some point he does have to figure out how he did it, so he can perpetuate the cycle again.
Yeah. The time thing is... no, it doesn't make sense. But it's interesting to theorize about.
Yeah.
There's a parent death. I cried when I watched it the first time by myself. The getting Janet the tickets to Hawaii got me good. I was like, okay, Lily Tomlin slay, it's fine. I don't know why it got me so good, but it did. My biggest wish for the film was I wanted a bigger resolution with his dad the first time I watched it. This time with you, I didn't miss it so much. But the first time I watched, I wished for more of a resolution with his dad other than just, did you tell my dad I'm gonna help him move on Sunday? Like, okay, good, that's great, but, like, when I first watched it, I was like, I want him to be able to tell his dad that, like, you hurt me when I was younger, and that's why I felt so distant from you, but I want to change that. Like, but, nobody really says those things, I suppose. I mean, I do, but, I wanted, the first time I watched, I wanted more of a resolution between him and his dad, even if it was like, we see him helping his dad move, instead of just, did you tell my dad I'm gonna help him move, or whatever it was. That was my only want when I finished watching the film. I don't know, I have nothing else to say. I enjoyed it, I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
What about you? You got any spiel?
No, I enjoyed all of it,
Would you recommend?
I would.
It's on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Would you watch it again?
If it was on, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a little caveat. I'm not a person who typically rewatches movies. Not because they're not good or whatever, it's just, I don't rewatch.
You have a million other things to watch.
I don't rewatch movies typically.
What would you rate it?
7 planes.
Oh my god, my average rating was an 8? Oh, but I gave a lot of 7s and like 110, so that's what did that. So my rating is 8. You did planes? Is that what you just did?
We could do Chesters if you want.
No. Planes is good. I'll do 8 planes out of 10. Our total movie count is... Can you believe it? Our parent death toll is... And our cry count is... Somebody call the ambulance!
Well, maybe it should be the ambulance count is...
Yeah. If you want to keep up with what movie we're watching when, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. You can follow Erin. She bakes cookies. I don't know are you still selling them right now, or are you too busy with work?
I'm not. I haven't been selling them, but...
Okay, well, you can still follow her on Instagram at SweetPeaTreats2013. Her cookies are amazing. Yeah. So when she opens the Etsy shop back up one day, hop on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Until next time. Well, no. Join Patreon this month. And only for a few more days. Every tier on Patreon is getting bonuses from the tier above it. So, this is the month to be on Patreon. Head on over there. Buy merch. Limited edition. You only have a few more days on this, too. This goes away August 31st. So, you better buy some. T-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve, tank top. Multiple colors. It's super comfy. Feel that. Okay, now until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and I'm sure, which is tomorrow. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'm sure if you are, so you do, and don't be, I guess, the beginning of the movie Russ about it.
Or the baseball owner.
Yeah, the baseball owner was deplorable, for sure. Yeah, don't be him either. Say bye! Thank you for being here. Okay. The way he just, like, it was just so very, like, instead of just, like, I don't know how to explain it, but his was very, like, it was weird. Sorry, Spencer.